Hello, superstar. Let's talk about how to use a template to get a testimonial from a client. Let's go. In this video, I'm going to start with why testimonials are so valuable and worth your time. I'm going to share my one reframe that's going to completely change the way you look at testimonials. I'll share a little bit about my story as an example of what I'm talking about. Then we're going to dive into the format of a testimonial template and the structure that you want your template to walk people through. Let's go. Testimonials are extremely valuable and they can help boost the sales in your business when done correctly. Now, the problem is that most testimonials are not very effective. They tend to be really generic, like, Michelle is so great, she helped me so much, I love working with Michelle, you should hire Michelle, right? That doesn't tell anybody anything. So the solution to that problem is to completely shift the way you look at testimonials. They are not an endorsement in the traditional sense of the word. What they really need to be, and what makes them much more effective, is this one shift in thinking. A great testimonial tells a compelling story. So when you create a template in order to capture a testimonial, an effective testimonial, what we need is to create a template that captures a story, not just Michelle is so great. We want to use a template because we don't want to leave this up to chance. I know you've had this experience before. I certainly have, where you ask a client for a testimonial and number one, they resist or they procrastinate, they don't send it, or they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. Can you tell me what to say? And that feels kind of icky and inauthentic, right? You really don't want to just throw your client to the wolves and be like, hey, send me a testimonial. But that's what most people do. If you've ever had to write a LinkedIn testimonial, you'll see that that's usually people write, hey, can you write me an endorsement or can you write me a testimonial on LinkedIn? And then they leave it up to you to say whatever you're going to say. And that's kind of a pain. None of us like to write that much. Well, most of us don't want to write that much. I certainly don't. But if you give me a very specific question, it's much easier to answer it. So that's what we're going to do with our template. We want to give people a very specific structure, a series of questions that takes them down a path and that turns their testimonial into a story. And that's what's going to be way more effective at social proof, at promoting us, at giving us credibility, and helping people really, really see the value of the work that we're doing. Okay, now before I dive into the template process and the questions, I do want to talk a little bit about format. Now, if you've heard me talk about testimonials before, then you know that I believe that the most effective format for a testimonial is actually video. And that is how I try to capture most, if not all, of my testimonials. Video is great because people can feel your client in a video. They can really connect with them, usually way more than they can with just the written word and a picture. And when you do a video testimonial, you can pull a transcript and you can get the written word also. So the video gives you the opportunity to use two different types of formats rather than be stuck with just one. So my preference is to do a video, but you can also do a digital format or even a written format. So for example, you could walk somebody through these questions, this structure that I'm going to share with you. You can walk them through it on a jot form. You can walk them through it on a physical sheet of paper, which is something that I do in my retreats because we don't have a videographer there. And it's, video, we would have to do it one by one. And we have like 20 something people at our retreats. We, take a lot of time. And so instead, we do it all at the same time in a written format. So you got to think about when and how you're going to be capturing these testimonials in order to figure out what's the right format. But no matter what the format is, the structure remains the same. Now, before I dive into that, I do want to invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and please share your comments, your ideas, your suggestions about capturing a great testimonial below in the comments. So the structure that I recommend walking people through is this is the basic structure. Now you can embellish this as needed. You can add questions as needed. My recommendation is to keep the questions very specific so that you can lead people on a journey and you can capture a really great story. So what I'm going to share with you is the bare minimum that I would use to capture a great testimonial. And of course, you can flesh that out as much as you want, remembering too that you don't want people to spend an hour on your testimonial. That's a lot of work. And I feel like people might be a little resentful if they have to spend a whole long amount of time. So when I keep it simple, keep it to like 10 or 12, maybe 15 minutes if you can. Let me give you the overall structure. There's before, during, after, next. So before, the first question you will want to ask is something along the lines of, what was the problem or challenge or challenges that you were facing before you started working with me or before you started working with Michelle, or however you want to word it, right? So you want to give people the opportunity to share what was going on. You might even want to add a question like, what made you decide to hire me to help you with this, right? So that's one question or maybe two questions about the before. This sets up the hero's journey, right? With your client giving you the testimonial as the hero. They were struggling with this problem and they found you on YouTube and decided, well, this is the perfect person to help me. Boom, move into the second piece. And the second piece is what I call the during. So the question is, what work did we do together? What work did you do with me that was beneficial? So detail out like all of the things that were helpful that you did together, right? And you might want to add a question like, what specific areas did you target? What specific problems did you address? Or things like that. You can guide them to remember certain things that they might not even remember that you did together. So that's the during. Then the after is something along the lines of, what is the result of the work that you did together? What is the result of the work that we did together, right? So the third question is all about the aftermath. What was the result? What happened? What did you gain? What improvements did you see? These are those types of questions there. And then the final piece of the puzzle is, and what's next? What does the future look like now? What's possible now that wasn't possible before? These are the types of questions to help guide towards the next phase, the future. So that's the structure of a great testimonial, which you can walk people through on a video with an interview process, or you can walk them through in a worksheet or in a digital survey of some sort. And then from there, you can weave it all together. You don't have to leave it exactly the way they wrote it. You can edit it and then send it to them and say, hey, I edited this together from your responses. Does this work for you? And I've never had a client say no. I've only ever had them say, oh, can you add this? Or can you just shift this a little bit? Or can you say it this way? And I'm happy to do that, right? So you're not stuck with whatever you get, especially if your client isn't a great writer or isn't a great, speaker. You can then take the essence of what they said and you can rework it and make it more effective. If you are a speaker, author, coach, consultant, and you're looking to grow your business, scale it, maybe even introduce some group programs, retreats, immersions, let's connect. You can find me at superstaractivator.com/go. I look forward to working with you.